Welcome to Native America Calling. I'm Sean Spruce. Jur Anderson and his growing stable of Native musicians keeps up a busy year-round schedule of performances. They're getting ready to put on their annual show of music, art, and fashion in Albuquerque. It's part of the explosion of events springing up alongside the popular Gathering of Nations powwow. It's our tradition to hear from the Native Guitars Tour this time of year, and we'll keep that tradition going right after the news.
That young man was fool to let you in. I know I'm wishing I faced those things much sooner than I did.
This is National Native News. I'm Jill Freitas. Last month, the U.S. Forest Service swapped 2,400 acres of lands with Resolution Copper that included an Apache holy site called Oak Flat. Now, a local group is challenging that decision. KJZZ's Gabriel Pietrasio has the latest.
Resolution Copper tells KJZZ courts at every level have consistently ruled in the multinational mining company's favor, adding it is time for the meritless litigation to end. Beckett Fund Senior Counsel Luke Goodrich disagrees.
This litigation is far from over. It's really just getting started.
That's why his D.C. religious liberty firm filed a 41-page plea this Earth Day on behalf of the nonprofit Apache Stronghold. They're asking Arizona's federal district court to essentially undo this congressionally approved land exchange, claiming the U.S. has violated federal laws and even an 1852 treaty. Goodrich says there's even legal precedent to back them up.
The courts, if they find that transfer is unlawful, can unwind the transfer and require the parties to store the land to its pristine state.
For National Native News, I'm Gabriel Pietrasio.
Wednesday was Earth Day, and the day before, Unalaskans got a chance to learn about the island's only recycling program. Most of what the Kawalungan tribe of Unalaska collects gets shipped out, but not the glass. KUCB's Sophia Stewart-Rossi has more on how used glass bottles could be put to use on island over and over again.
I was like, council. It was like, thank you all for joining us today. I'm Shanoy Anderson.
Shanoy Anderson is standing in a conference room walking community members through a PowerPoint presentation about recycling. From, quote, bin to beyond.
And recycling is the process of gathering and processing materials to create new products.
Anderson is the environmental director for the tribe. The tribe started their recycling program in 2024, collecting glass, number one plastic, aluminum, and cardboard. It's Unalaska's only recycling program. Most of the recyclables get shipped out in containers to the Tacoma area through a partnership with the barge company Matson. But glass is heavy and takes up too much space. So rather than see it go to waste, the tribe recycles it in-house.
I gotta take off all the plastic and, the metal off the bottles. That takes up most of the time.
That's John Gustafson. He's the tribe's recycling and facilities manager. He sorts the glass and runs the crusher machine, processing bottles into material used for sandbags and winter road traction for the island. That's cheaper than sending it out of town. When sorting glass, Gustafson has one hard rule. Bottles with food residue don't make the cut. Food residue in recycling can contaminate entire batches of material and can cause costly damage to equipment.
Like spaghetti sauce, Alfredo, and stuff like that. People don't think to rinse it first.
As of now, the tribe has about 6,000 pounds of crushed glass stored. That's roughly 2 years' worth. But Gustafson says there's room to grow in the future.
It's just me and can only, handle so much at a time. But eventually we want to upgrade all of our equipment and everything, and we'll spread the news to the whole community. We'll be even busier.
Anderson says the tribe hopes to have the new equipment ready within the year and potentially recycle the glass into other materials for art, construction, and landscaping. She says once it's up and running, they plan to collect recyclable glass beyond Unalaska.
Our goal is to be a hub.
For now, community members can drop off recyclables at the Kowloon Tribe's office on Broadway in the Valley. In Unalaska, I'm Sophia Stewart-Rossi.
And I'm Jill Freitas.
National Native News is produced by Koahnic Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support by Sonosky Chambers Law, championing tribal sovereignty and Native American rights since 1976. From opioids litigation to treaty rights to tribal self-governance. With offices in Washington, D.C., New Mexico, California, and Alaska. Sonosky Chambers Law.
Support from Davis Kalin Law Firm, a New Mexico firm standing with Native families suffering catastrophic loss. When tragedy strikes Indian country, Davis Kalin fights to restore stability, dignity, and justice, bringing a voice to Native families and communities for 20 years. More information, daviskalin.com.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.
This is Native America Calling. I'm Sean Spruce. Cocha de Pueblo musician Jur Anderson's vision for an outlet for indigenous music, fashion, and art is going strong after almost 2 decades. Anderson's collective, Native Guitars Tour, is live for their annual show here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It features a wide range of talented Native musicians, artists, fashion, food, and much more. This weekend also marks the final Gathering of Nations powwow. Native dancers, singers, and attendees from across the country are in Albuquerque with the opportunity to experience Native Guitars Tour music along with many other performances happening throughout the city. It's an annual tradition to feature artists and musicians from the Native Guitars Tour on Native America Calling. And if you would like to join our conversation today with a comment or a question, you can do so. Just call 1-800-996-2848. That is also 1-800-99-NATIVE. And you can always comment on our website and social media pages like Facebook and Instagram. It is a beautiful Friday afternoon here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The sun is shining, and I have a room full of artists and musicians with us today. I want to begin, of course, with Jur Anderson, founder and executive director of Native Guitars Tour and the lead singer for the Jur Project. He is, of course, Cocha de Pueblo. He's been on the show many times. Jur, welcome back.
Good. Sehopa, how are you doing this morning?
Doae, I'm doing really, really well. Let's begin. You recently had a really successful series of shows in Las Vegas, Nevada, but of course now you're back home here in New Mexico. Albuquerque's a very different environment. But tell me, how does the Duke City and Gathering of Nations influence the vibe of Native Guitars Tour?
I think it is a big influence. You know, it's kind of where the seeds were planted, 19 years ago when we started Native Guitars Tour during the gathering. And what it's become 19 years later is this platform where we're able to support our community. We're able to, pay our artists and kind of set that bar for other organizations, other businesses that are bringing in artists to also follow along that, right? So it's created a equitable platform for artists and just really building community through the years, with partners, with artists, designers, tattoo artists, and just the community, all these different organizations that are out there really coming together. So I believe during the gathering, it's been a really powerful time, and it's kind of set the standard throughout Turtle Island for how to bring community together and how to build together.
Well, you just mentioned tattoo artists, and we have one with us today seated directly to your left. Joining us now is Ariana Lauren, and she is a traditional tattooist from the Cowichan tribes. Ari, welcome to Native America Calling. It's great to have you in the studio today.
Hi, Chka. Native.
Well, tell me more about the different styles of tattoos you specialize in and what excites you about being part of Native Guitars Tour.
Oh, I'm a hand-poke tattooer, so no machines, just me, my needle, and my hands. And I've been doing that for quite a while now. And I've also been doing the Native Guitars Tour event for close to 7 years with both my businesses, tattooing and my apothecary. So we go way back, in my opinion.
Now, how strong is the practice of traditional tattoos in your community? And have you seen that evolve and change over the years?
Yeah, I was heavily influenced by my community, by my relatives, my friends. A lot of hand-poke tattooers have been popping up in the Pacific Northwest, a lot of Haidas and Tlingit and Tahltan tattooers. but nobody from the Cowichan tribe. So it was just something that I felt was like a natural course for me to take. And once I dove into it, it just came so smooth, so natural, and very just rooted in where I come from. So it's been a great journey so far.
Now, what I think is really cool, of course, you are from the Pacific Northwest originally, but you have a studio here in Albuquerque, and you specialize in traditional Coast Salish tattooing. What's it like to work in the Southwest? And what's it like just being part of, different types of tribal communities and also non-natives as well?
It's been the biggest blessing of my life to move here and to be a part of the community here and to be accepted and respected by the different pueblos, the 19 different pueblos, and the Navajo Nation and the Apache Nations. I've been really grateful. I co-own my space currently with my friend Sonia. She's from Taos Pueblo, and I'm so lucky to be in partnership with her and to build our shop together and to have somebody who's from here and myself from, the Pacific Northwest. It's a really great story of the North and the South coming together.
Now, I noticed you have a lot of tattoos as well. Do you want to share any of them or talk a little bit about the history there or just the connection that you have to some of that ink?
Yeah, I recently got my palms tattooed. I have a orca on my left hand and a thunderbird on my right hand. And these are Coast Salish designs by my sister. Charlene designed these for me so I could represent my Cowichan tribes. The thunderbird is our savior, and the orca just represents just being grateful for an abundance of food and abundance of life. So these are, I try to carry them, obviously, very obvious placement. They're right on the tops of my palms. And those are the most meaningful out of all of my tattoos, and they're the most painful. And they're the most visible. So
I also hear they don't last as long.
They
on the
don't.
palm. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little more.
I will be touching these up probably a couple of times over the next couple of years. So
right on. Jura, I want to go back to you because you always have such a diverse lineup of artists. And you also perform with the dance troupe Electric Turquoise. So tell me more about the common thread that ties all of these different artists and their expressions together for this really impactful show.
Yeah, so, through the years, we developed a process of bringing in artists. We have a submission process that we have on the website, and we have a team that kind of reviews all the submissions. And, like Electric Turquoise, we met, I think 3 years ago with them just reaching out. And what they do is they work within community, and that's really important to us when we bring people on, that, people are giving back. And so they have a component where they go into different tribes and they work with the youth that are interested in dance. And it's a whole similar concept to what we're doing here, promoting music and art, but they're doing dance, So it's this whole unique platform, and we're happy to welcome them and bring them in. And they're really doing amazing things. So Tesla, Wolf, and Electric Turquoise really doing amazing things.
Well, this year, the Gathering of Nations is being billed as the last dance, and there's so much speculation about what the future holds with this being the last Gathering of Nations powwow. And, of course, Native Guitars Tour, like other events, coincides this weekend. It's so many people coming into town, so many Native people involved. What plans do you have in place, though, Jura, going forward with Native Guitars Tour events, if there is no longer a Gathering of Nations powwow to be the big draw that gets folks excited to come to Albuquerque?
Yeah, no, aside from Gathering, we have about 7 regular annual events throughout Turtle Island, and then we probably do about 15 to 20 events total for the year. We do private events, and we do a lot of different things within schools. We do workshops. We have lectures that we take to universities. So we have that big span of programming that we provide. But for Gathering, we planted the seeds during Gathering. We're very grateful for them for creating these opportunities for everyone. And we're really, I guess, compassionate for whatever they're going through, because that has to be a hard decision, right? To say this is it, and who knows, maybe they're throwing us a teaser, right? But yeah, we have the seeds planted. We've been watering them, so we are going to continue. We will be making a big announcement at our festival this weekend about 2027. But I'm going to save that for the people that are there first.
This is a showman here. He knows what to share and what not to share. Jura, you mentioned earlier how passionate you are about compensation for artists, and especially now with the music industry changing so much. But what are the main hurdles that Native artists face in getting paid in an industry that is just so notoriously difficult to break into?
Yeah, I feel that just musicians in general and arts in general, right? That profession is not looked at as a profession in many ways. So I think through like our language and our storytelling and developing programming that puts these artists in that professional setting where people are looking at them as professionals, just like you would a doctor or a lawyer or, an engineer. We have musicians that are creating art, creating spaces. And like when you have your wedding, you have a song, and that comes from artists. And it's the same thing that we're doing here. So I think it's, through the 19th year, starting off where we were asking people to play, to now where Native Guitars Tour puts about $100,000 into our programs for artists in our Pay the Artist movement that we've been doing. It just shows the growth that we've been doing and how we really work towards making that happen. And that comes through support of our community, and that comes through support of people attending the shows. And we try to make events free as much as we can if we can get that support through like sponsorships or partnerships, however those are developed. So it is a lot of work that's put in, but to see like these artists being able to come out here, travel out here and be a part of it, like that's the biggest reward. And I don't know. I guess the story should really come from our artists is what we believe.
All right. And the story will come from our artists on the other side of this break. We're going to hear some live performances. We have a lot of other musicians in the studio with us today, but we do have to take a short break. And we have the phone lines open right now for any listeners who would like to join this conversation. If you are a fan of Native Guitars Tour, or maybe you have thoughts with regard to Gathering of Nations, and is this really the last dance? We'd like to hear from you today. Give us a call, 1-800-99-NATIVE. And who knows, maybe if we press Jur a little bit more, we'll hear this special announcement a little bit early here on the show. But I don't know. I'm not making any promises for that, folks. But yeah, we're excited here to be on the air live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is a big, big weekend here in the Duke City. We have natives coming in from all over the United States and parts of Canada as well. And a lot of folks even come from overseas as well, internationally, to check out events like the Native Guitars Tour. So give us a call, join the conversation, tell us what excites you about music, art, and entertainment with regards to Native people here this weekend. 1-800-99-NATIVE. Workers halted construction at a University of California, Berkeley site after finding skeletal remains. It's one of several recent high-profile discoveries, some which have generated controversy over who has say over how the remains are treated. We'll get a look at instances when modern progress meets sacred sites on the next Native America Calling.
Who protects Indian country? Amerind does. As the only 100% tribally owned insurance carrier, Amerind helps strengthen tribal communities by providing reliable insurance coverage and keeping dollars in Indian country. From property and liability to commercial auto and tribal workers' compensation, Amerind is here to protect what matters. Celebrating 40 years of serving Indian country. Learn more at amerind.com. That's AMERIND.com.
Thank you for listening to Native America Calling. I'm Sean Spruce. Let's continue now our conversation with Native musicians performing here in Albuquerque, New Mexico this weekend. We'll also catch live in-studio performances as well. And listeners can join us with comments and questions. Just call 1-800-996-2848. That number is also 1-800-99-NATIVE. Joining us now here in the studio are musicians and husband and wife duo, Sage and Kieran Lakapa. Sage is White Mountain Apache and Kieran is Jicarilla Apache. Great to have you both on the show today.
Great to be here.
Good to be here.
Wonderful. Now, Sage, you have described your latest album, Golden Wave Woman, as the journeys through the joys, trials, and tribulations of Indian lovin'. Tell us more about those journeys you went through to create this album, and I'll be curious to see what Kieran thinks of these stories too.
Well, a lot of this album I wrote about my wife, and we spent a lot of time together just as friends, and we went on a lot of journeys and had a lot of trials and tribulations, I'd say.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Kieran?
We made it through all the way from an amazing friendship to an amazing friendship, and we're also married. And it's great that we're also musicians.
When did you first meet?
We first met at UNM at a holiday party.
It's a holiday party.
Yeah.
Here in Albuquerque then.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Now you are going to perform for us now.
Yes.
Okay. What's the song? Give us some background.
This is a song called Caroline. I wrote it about Kieran in New York in a car ride to a show. It was about 20 minutes, and I think it's one of the best songs I've ever written. And it's off of my album, Golden Wave Woman.
Let's hear it.
Cool.
What a sweet sensation, like the sense and taste of any kind. You're like the lime in my teeth and the lemon on the trees. Maybe in the next life I can search for you, and that look you gave me under the blanket. I could have a chest to rest my head when I'm on that heavy check. Oh my light, oh my Caroline. It was you I wanna stick my coffin nails into my coffin cells and foggy boats of respiratory seas. Well, maybe I will drown and see a world I wasn't supposed to see. There's a chaotic chance on supper in the evening, like pots and PJs I'll wear with you. Oh my light, oh my Caroline. I wish there was time for me to fall out of love with you. I can't forget to tie your shoes and tell you that you're pretty cool. Remind myself of the evening that I spent with my baby blue. Oh my light, oh my Caroline. Don't stop your tongue from being tied and twisted just because of me. It's only Tuesday, and with what it brings, my teeth, they'd like to twine with yours. You speak what my mind, it's too late to think. It's too late to think. I've lost myself. I lost myself. I lost myself like a wild cat falling into a cave. In the creep of a ghost inside my nose, it's nice to know I've lost myself. Oh my light, oh my Caroline. Oh my Caroline. Oh my light, oh my Caroline.
All right. Oh, wow. Absolutely wonderful. Now, for listeners who aren't here in the studio, I need to explain that Kieran is playing a very interesting instrument. It has a real wail to it that really adds to the depth and passion of that song. But tell us what you're playing, Kieran.
I'm playing a singing saw.
A singing saw. And, I mean, that saw looks like you just pulled it out of the woodshed there. It's not like something you bought at Home Depot. That's an old school saw that I remember my grandfather used to cut wood with something like that.
I say the rustier the better.
Well, it definitely adds to the depth of that song and the beauty. Sage, I want to go back to you because singer-songwriter Kimya Dawson named Golden Wave Woman one of the best albums of last year. What does it do for you folks to have that kind of affirmation?
Just drives our egos up a wall, man. No, it really makes us grateful, and it really gives us just like a push to know that our music's reaching people and people can relate to it. I think that's really cool.
We were talking with Jur earlier about what it is to be a professional musician and the challenges that exist in the industry. And you've been at this for a number of years. Can you pinpoint an exact moment when you just decided to go all in on your music?
Definitely. What year was this?
2023.
2023. Mm-hmm. I drove my parents crazy, and I dropped out of my semester of college, and me and Kieran went full out to record Golden Wave Woman with our friends from Phoenix, and we recorded an album in Gloucester, Massachusetts. We did the whole album in a matter of 2 days and formed our own record label, and we've been doing music ever since.
Yeah, it kind of started with watching the movie Rumble, The Indians Who Rocked the World.
Yeah.
It was really inspiring to see all of these Native people who have succeeded in music, and it felt really inspiring.
I wanted to be like Jesse Ed Davis. That's why I cut my hair too, like the bangs.
The legend, yeah, the late great Jesse Ed Davis, Oklahoma boy, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a process in terms of songwriting? Because you have so many different. I mean, you write about love, you sing about marijuana, people you've known over the years. Where do all these ideas? Where does this expression come from?
I really just write about my life and experiences that I've had before. I like to, I don't know, I listen to a lot of people like Bob Marley and Jesse Ed Davis, and sometimes I hear their lyrics and they're just talking about their day-to-day life and stuff that they're doing and experiences that they're having, and so you just got to put that in song, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, your love, the love that you two have for each other, it's infectious, and I can just see it. I can feel it here in the studio. But I got to ask, do you have children, or is that coming up in the future here? Plans, thoughts?
We have 2 dogs and a cat.
Pepper, Carlos, and Bubba.
Sounds like you're going to stay just like that for a while then, maybe.
We'll see.
All right, okay. Well, it's so great to have you both in the studio, and I'm just happy for all of your success, and just keep inspiring us, okay?
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we have more musicians with us today in the studio. Seated directly across from me is Cameron Osceola. He is a singer and guitarist for the Osceola Brothers, and he is Seminole from the state of Florida. And he is also joined by his brother, Sheldon Osceola, as well. So we have 2 of the Osceola Brothers in our studio with us today. Welcome to you both. Great to have you.
Thank you for having us. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Sheldon, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. How often do you folks get to Albuquerque and Southwest?
Maybe like twice a year now since like 2023 or 2022. We love coming out here. It's so different. I always say this. I love seeing the architecture and how everybody tries to keep the same like look for the land, like the adobe look for the buildings and stuff, like back in Florida and stuff like that. You don't have anything like that.
Right. A lot of skyscrapers, right?
Yeah.
A lot of concrete.
Yep. A lot of concrete.
Too much. Too much. Yeah, we've done some shows about some of the issues there in terms of encroachment on native lands from those big cities and developers. So,
yeah.
Do you folks address that at all in your music?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I talk a lot of stuff. Just about politics, about your personal life, things like that, things that everybody goes through on a daily basis that no one really talks about, but everybody feels, whether it's depression, whether it's excitement, even like the state that the world's in now. I'll sing about it in a second.
Okay.
So, like, you'll fully kind of understand.
Right on. Well, before we have you folks play, and I think we'll probably fit that on the other side of our next break here, but tell us more about your band's sound for people who might not have heard you yet.
So we are a Seminole Kiowa trio from Hollywood, Florida. And we like to talk about all kinds of things, mainly with me and my personal style of songwriting and lyrical content. It's more so stories and from actual observations. Like this song I want to sing for you guys, I was reading and doing a lot of research about COINTELPRO that was going on during the in the 60s and 70s that was taking out a lot of important political leaders and activists, such as Chairman Fred Hampton, how he was murdered by the CIA, and how the CIA was formed because of the Osage murders and the FBI and stuff like that. And so I think it's really important to learn about things and tell people about these things, because it goes under a rug that no one's going to peel up and clean under or look.
Absolutely.
So I think it's very important to use our voices to actually say something important. If I have the medium and the the platform, I'm gonna use it to the best of my ability.
Sheldon, you're described as being the most vital piece of the band. What's it been like for you playing with your brothers for almost 15 years?
It's a blessing, I would say, because like they're my brothers. I just love them. I play with them. Like, it's just the connection's always there, and we fight and stuff, but we'll never break apart. And
you can't break up. You're brothers.
So
how is it, like you said 15, going on 15 years. So we started when I was like 14. So how old? Tell everybody how old you were.
I was probably like 10. I think I was 10.
And you were playing the drums at 10.
Yeah, I was just starting around 10, and then we got like very serious. Tried to when I was like 11, like a year in, and then we just pushed each other ever since, and just creating musical fusion ever since. Like.
What drew you to the drums initially, and what was it about that instrument? And tell me a little bit more about your drumming style.
I really love Motley Crue and Tommy Lee, so like that's my main like inspiration. That's all I can remember like listening to when I was like 6. Like my mom, Cameron, they would always listen to Motley Crue CDs and everything, and I just loved the sound. And he would always watch the like MTV music videos and stuff, and I would just like see it, and I'm like, what? I want to be like that.
I'm like, what?
See, that interests me because I'm from that generation. I'm an 80s kid. I grew up when that music was fresh, but it's still relevant. People still love that sound, that music. I know also Guns N' Roses, Black Sabbath, those are also influences for you folks?
Yeah, Black Sabbath, New York Dolls. As far as me, I'm a real blues head. So I love B.B. King, Albert King, all the Kings, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Hendrix, like Buddy Guy, Robert Johnson, Jesse Ed Davis. I can go on, and we won't have any time left. But that's stuff I love. We love being all over the place. We love rap. He makes hip hop. He produces beats and everything. Him and our youngest brother actually have a group, a duo, and they do rap and like reggaeton and stuff like that. And some bad kids.
Yeah, for sure. Now there's a tradition of music in Seminole country in Florida, and I'm thinking specifically of Chief Jim Billy, right? He had a musical career. Tell me a little bit more about the community and the passion for music there and how that's informed your sound as well.
I feel like the strongest one came from the Kiowa side because we come from a long line of healers and warriors and our great, I don't know how many greats, Chief Big Bow, he would go out on his expeditions and he would come back and he would sing his songs to let his people know, like the village know that he was coming back. And so to actually have those songs recorded and like we can listen to them. Yeah, like our grandpa's dad or grandpa's brother put out a book about peyote songs of the family and stuff, and it came with a CD. And I ripped that CD and put it on my computer and put it on my phone so I can like listen. It was like old peyote songs and stories about our family and medicine and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that side of my family is they drum and they powwow and stuff. And then Southeast, we're more stomp dance and it's more ceremony. Like I don't know too many of those stomp dance songs because it's so like we don't go to a ceremony too much. We didn't really grow up like that. And so to be kind of reconnecting with that and having friends that are our age now that are in charge of things at ceremonies and willing to, you know, bring us in and teach us things. It's really valuable. The community around it is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also have friends that make a lot of music, like folk punk and stuff. I'm going to shout out my friend Kawako. He's James Billy's son, actually.
Oh, okay.
And we're really good friends, and he makes really good music. There's so many talented kids on the res.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned your Kiowa side, and we've been talking a lot about Jesse Ed Davis, who was an enrolled member of the Kiowa tribe.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, on. I actually was involved in some stuff. Can't say too much about it, but
okay. Well, we got to go to break anyway. But you get your music set up, your gear, you got your equipment with you, and we'll hear from Cameron Osceola live on the other side of this break.
Thank you.
Tribal Development Partners believe strong infrastructure strengthens tribal sovereignty. Through the 105L lease program, TDP helps align federal funding systems with long-term tribal priorities. More at tribaldevpartners.com. Proud to support this show.
Ready to expand your reach and inspire change? Kaufman & Associates crafts culturally grounded communication strategies for Native audiences. More at kaufmaninc.com. KAUFFMANINC.com.
You're listening to Native America Calling. I'm your host, Sean Spruce, and there's still plenty of time for listeners to join our conversation today. We have musicians and artists with the Native Collective Native Guitars Tour in our studio today here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the number to the studio is 1-800-996-2848. Two of our guests today, Cameron and Sheldon Osceola, are both part of the Osceola Brothers musical sound. And Cameron is going to play a song for us. Now, Cameron, I don't usually see you with an acoustic guitar. Tell me more about what you're going to play for us.
So this one's called Think for Yourself. If you're aware of what's going on in the world today, what's always gone on, it's pretty much self-explanatory. The song is about being targeted. It's about having to stand 10 toes down for the good things in life. And I want to shout out my brother Tyson, who can't be here for the show tomorrow. He's our bass player. He's focusing on some medical things, so let's all put some prayers up, and nothing too crazy or anything, but we just want to make sure that he's his best so he can be on stage.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the third Osceola brother, Tyson, and thoughts and prayers going out to your brother as well.
Love you.
Yeah. Well, let's hear it, Cameron.
All right. Enjoy.
been watching me. I'm like a knife in your side. You're trying to kill me, oh. Come and take your life. Look at me now, now look at your soul. I see right through you, and you're not made of gold. Don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes. Won't be long before you realize who's your master, who's your slave, who's a blind man. We're doing this again, master, who's your slave. Please just think for yourself, 'cause we're all gonna die someday. All gonna die someday. Well, I'm not afraid. I'll rip it straight from your throat. I'll get right under your skin. Have you crying for more? But you're never gonna see the whites of my eyes. Won't be long before you realize who's your master, who's your slave, who's a blind man. I'm doing this again, master, who's your slave. Please just think for yourself, 'cause we're all gonna die someday. All gonna die someday. Force their lies down on everyone, down, they're never gonna stop. Hands are tied, bound to everyone, bound, they're never gonna stop. Hands are tied, bound to everyone, bound, they're never gonna stop. Force their lies down on everyone, down, they're never gonna stop. So who's your master? Who's your slave? Who's a blind man? We're doing this again, master. Who's your slave? Please just think for yourself. Please just think for yourself. Who's your master? Who's your slave? Who's a blind man? Doing this again, master. Who's your slave? Please just think for yourself. Please think for yourself. Who's your master? Who's your slave? Who's a blind man? Doing this again, master. Who's your slave? Please just think for yourself, 'cause we're all gonna die someday.
Oh, let it rip, brother. Let it rip. You know, that reminds me of the old joke. How many Indians does it take to stabilize a mic stand?
All of us, apparently. Thank
4
you so
and
much.
counting.
Thank you.
Yeah, geez. Well, we talked earlier about, the kind of the classic rock sound, and I grew up, I'm from that generation, but it amazed me because the New York Times put out an article earlier this year with the headline, "Does rock music still matter?" What's your thought on that, Cameron, in terms of the popularity of the genre right now?
I'm a little biased, but I think it matters a lot.
I do too.
I just think it matters that people use their voice for saying, drawing attention to whatever's going on, or saying how they feel, like, taking people out of their lives for a second, because we're entertainers and we're here to entertain and tell stories and ultimately maybe make you feel a little better about something that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important, and then especially for the rock genre, I feel like it's making a comeback because we talk to a lot of kids after shows that come up and they're into guitar and they're into drums, and thankfully our tribe has a boys and girls club, and they teach music and they teach production and stuff like that, and they put on showcases for them and stuff, and that's how we kind of started playing too, is those boys and girls club showcases, and I think it's hugely important.
Sheldon, how about you? Do you consider yourself a mentor, or do you feel any responsibility to encourage and inspire young kids to take up the craft of rock and roll?
Most definitely I do. I see it in the community back on the res at home. Whenever I go to the gym and stuff, it's connected to the Boys and Girls Club. So I see kids and they see me and they're like, hey, I'm learning the drums now, or I'm playing the showcase. Are you going to come see me? And stuff like that. And it's just awesome to see that the kids are looking and we're inspiring them to play,
Absolutely. Well, it's great to have you both coming into the studio, and I'm glad you're back in New Mexico in the 505, and just continued success and continued just traveling and doing what you do. I love your sound, and like you said, sometimes when we're in these periods of stress and turmoil, there's nothing like music to heal and to get us through, and you folks are a living representation of that.
Thank you. Thank you
so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Jur, you just continue to, every year you just outdo yourself. Every year you just continue to put on this event, Native Guitars Tour, and you have so many talented musicians, so many talented artists. How do you do it? How do you keep doing it? And again, where does it all come from? Where does the passion come from?
Well, I grew up in community. I grew up in Cochiti, and my parents were really my role models, and outside of that, my community, neighbors, everybody within the tribe, and that's the role model that our organization is built on. And for Cameron and the brothers, they're just these amazing, beautiful people. They're just very kind and compassionate when we're off the stage and they're out of the limelight. They're just really, I want to say sweethearts, right? Because that's how gentle they are. And they show up and they stay for everybody's show. They're the only ones at the end of the night that are what can we carry, And then Corinne and Sage, me and Corinne were in a workshop together a couple of years ago, and that's how we met, and that's how I met Sage. And then just to see them be married now, and Ari, like she was saying, 7 years, it's just family, it just happens over time, and just trying to be in tune with people and where their heart's at is really what I look for, people that are genuine and their hearts are set on being either a musician or an artist or whatever, and I know that's their path. That's really what I look for, and it's not just myself. It's our team, our group, our family, our NGT family. When we try to bring artists on, we talk with each other and what's the best fit for this year for Gathering the Nations, and it just comes together. Mm-hmm. It's not something that I'm doing on my own. It is a family thing that we're doing and a community that we've built. And it's just, they're my family now, and they're part of my life. And I always talk about my little earthlings, my little kids, but like these people in this room are also my family, and I love them so much. And that just goes out to everybody that comes into the NGT family. And yeah, it's just it's a great place, and I have so much gratitude and so much just appreciation for where I am and the position that I'm in, and yeah, just everybody around me, including you. Like we've been doing this for years,
right.
And I feel like we're family now, and it just feels comfortable.
Yeah, and we run into each other.
Yes.
At events and venues, and it's always great to see you. Ari, I want to bring you back into the conversation because we heard Cameron earlier talk about the importance of bringing in social justice issues with his music and his art, and I know that's something you're passionate about as well.
Absolutely. I just want to acknowledge that I'm in a room full of healers. You brought that up. The music is healing. Tattoo medicine is also very healing, and the types of gatherings that we are in, especially the people in this room, are very healing moments. And I think with what's going on, as somebody who is coming from a different country myself, I really need that healing right now. And so, yeah, tattoo medicine too is just so important. And I'm grateful that these people have trusted me with bringing their visions to life. I have tattoos on almost everybody in the room, and hopefully everybody in the room one day.
Oh, I don't know what my wife would think if I came home with a new tattoo the weekend, but maybe we can pull it off. I don't know. Your apothecary work, that's important as well. Talk about that a little bit.
So Cowitz and Made is an apothecary brand that I built based on traditional plant medicines from my territory on Vancouver Island in BC. I was taught by my grandma really young how to harvest traditional plants, and it wasn't until my 20s that I figured I could put them together with different types of cosmetics to make something that was accessible and approachable by almost anybody. So I have been sharing that product line for 10 years, and this is my 10th year. I started when I was 26 years old, and I'm really proud of that. I never thought I'd be a two-time business owner ever. And people like Jer took a chance on me and invited me to events and helped me grow and expand my business over these last 10 years. And it's been such good medicine to share where I come from, the teachings that my grandma instilled in me, and to share these medicines with all sorts of Native people, non-Native people, Hmong and Honiton people. So,
right on. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you and all your success you've had. Jer, we're going to have to wind up the show here in a couple of minutes, but for listeners who want to learn more about Native Guitars Tour, the venue it's going to take place at, and just other details, what can you tell us?
Let's go to nativeguitarstour.com. Just search up Native Guitars Tour on Google or whatever search engine you use. We have an amazing lineup. Osceola Brothers, all the way from Seminole Tribe, Stella Standing Bear, Lakota Nation, Sage Lakapa, White Mountain Apache, Tiana Spotted Thunder from the Pine Ridge Reservation. We're bringing on for the first time Lee Isaac. He's Navajo. We got about 40 different vendors. Tattoos, we got native food, spirits, so just a community event. It's at Fusion, downtown Albuquerque. It's 700 First Street. It's on the corner of Lomas and First Street, and it's just a beautiful space, and we're really excited. So any information, again, nativeguitarstour.com.
All right. And with that, we are unfortunately out of time, so we're going to have to wrap up our conversation today. But I want to thank all of the guests who joined us today in the studio, of course, leading off with Jer Anderson, also Cameron and Sheldon Osceola, Sage and Kieran Lakapa, and, of course, Ariana Lauren. Appreciate all of you spending time with us today and informing our listeners. Please join us again next week as we look at a series of recent projects halted because of discoveries of sacred items. Our executive producer is Art Hughes. Our producers are Andy Murphy, Sol Traverso, and Joe Thompson. Marino Spencer is the engineer. Sho McPolin is the digital producer. Nola Daves Moses is the distribution director. Bob Peterson is the network manager for Native Voice One. Clifton Chadwick is our National Underwriting Sales Director. Charles Sather is our Chief Operations Officer. The President and CEO of Koahnic Broadcast Corporation is Jacqueline Salee. I'm Sean Spruce. You've been listening to the one, the only Native America Calling. Have a safe weekend.
Support from Rodale, publisher of A Feather and a Fork, 125 Intertribal Dishes from an Indigenous Food Warrior by Crystal Wapipa with Amy Page Condon, and a foreword by Tommy Orange is now available for purchase wherever books are sold. Support for law and justice-related programming provided by Hobbs, Strauss, Dean & Walker, LLP, a national law firm dedicated to promoting and defending tribal rights for over 40 years. More information available at hobbsstrauss.com. Every family caregiver could use help finding the necessary resources to care for their loved one. The AARP Family Caregiver Resource Guide helps family caregivers access key programs, services, and agencies in their communities. A copy of the guide is available by calling 877-333-5885 or online at aarp.org/caregiver-resources. AARP supports this show.
Native America Calling is produced in the Annenberg National Native Voice Studios in Albuquerque, New Mexico by Quantic Broadcast Corporation, a Native nonprofit media organization. Funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting with support from the Public Radio Satellite Service. Music is by Brent Michael Davids. Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.